Hey guys, Comic Uno, and today I'm reviewing, yes, I'm finally reviewing the last issue of Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man, issue 700. I did not get the variant, I got the regular issue, but I did get it signed by Dan Slott, because my store had it signed by Dan Slott, because they're good friends with him. So, thank you, Jim Hanley's Universe. So, definitely love this. Thank you. This is awesome. So, I got a signed copy from Dan Slott, and I will probably try to get some variant covers off the internet through the weeks, you know, because I am a big Spider-Man fan, and I would like to get some variants. I rarely get variants, so I would like to get some for my favorite superhero, and, you know, his last comic book. And there's some interesting variants. I think I want to get the one where, they're in that coffee house, and, like, it's like that old style type of cartoon thing. Oh, they have the variant covers here. I can show you guys. Show you which variants I was planning on getting. Let's see. I think it's actually after the issue. Like the story. Yeah. I want, not any of these, because these are, like, really plain, and this one's like, I don't know. Although I think they had Tom DeFalco's name in here, so that's kind of cool. He's my favorite comic book writer. So, maybe I'll get it. Who knows? Maybe I'll get that name one. I was thinking maybe getting this one. This one I definitely wanted to get, so it depends. I think maybe these two, and maybe the name one, but definitely this one. I'm going to try to get some variants of this. Again, just kind of cool to get that. This one's kind of cool, but I'm debating on that one. The one that shows, like, you know, issue 1 Amazing Spider-Man in a Superior Spider-Man type of way. So, there's some interesting variants I definitely want to get, but I got a very good regular copy with Dan Slott autograph, so love that. So let's talk about this issue, because you know I'm going to be talking a lot about it. So, but before I start this review, just want to say my grading for this is more of, not grading of the story, but grading more of how it's worth picking up, you know. I'm definitely going to be saying what's wrong and what's right about it, and my opinions on it, but it's kind of hard to grade it, because it's a must-read issue. And a lot of things happen, but there's stuff I disagree and stuff I do agree with. So that's why my grade might seem high or might seem low, but I think you should concentrate more on what I'm saying about the issue than my grade on the issue. So let's talk about this issue. What happened in this last issue? I'm going to obviously talk about the main story a little bit more than those secondary stories, because they're just silly secondary stories, but I'll talk a little bit about the secondary stories. Alright, so let's talk about the main story. We have Dr. Octopus. He's trying to ruin Peter's life, of course. And now, when I say Dr. Octopus, I mean the one that's taken over Peter Parker's body. And when I say Peter Parker, I mean the one in Dr. Octopus's body. Yes, it's a little confusing. But, so Dr. Octopus puts all his loved ones, you know, Peter's loved ones, in one place. That way, he seems like a hero, I guess, and he wants them to get hurt, but he wants to save them also, which is a little confusing. And also we have Peter trying to figure out how the hell am I going to survive. Because he actually dies a couple of times in this issue, and when he does die, he went to heaven, saw all the people that he cared about that died. Gwen, Captain Stacy, of course, Uncle Ben, his parents, J. Jonah Jameson's wife, just everyone that died that he cared about. And a lot of people died that he cared about. So, Uncle Ben says, you're not supposed to be here right now. Not saying you can't rest. You know, I think you deserve the rest. I think you deserve to be here. But you need to fight one more time. So, Peter's like, alright, I will. So, that's how he gets out of that, you know, he gets out of heaven and says, and he wakes up, he gains consciousness, he gets back in Dr. Octopus's body, he says, I need to try and, you know, try to get Peter Parker. Because people who are working with him, Scorpion and Hydro Man and everyone else, they're like, alright, let's go defeat Peter Parker. And they think he's Dr. Octopus. So he obviously didn't say, oh, you know, I'm Peter Parker. So, but his idea, Peter's idea, is to try to get that body switching thing working. That way he could become Peter Parker again. So he tries to do that. Dr. Octopus gives him a fight, and they have a, you know, a big battle, and I'm not going to try to spoil everything, but they do have a big battle, and Dr. Octopus in Peter's body starts seeing Peter's memories, and that starts changing his ideas. He says, maybe I shouldn't be a villain, maybe I should try to right my wrongs, you know, maybe the things, these hardships that Peter went through, now I finally see what I have to do. So, as he's seeing this, Peter obviously knows, you know, Peter in Dr. Octopus's body knows that he's dying. And he does die by saying, now you're Peter. You have to have great responsibility. And you must become Spider-Man. And so Peter Parker never switched anyone into anyone's body. He dies in Dr. Octopus's body. That's the shocker. That's when people are going to be upset about, because a lot of people are speculating, oh, Peter's not going to die, he's going to be around. You know, even Dan Slott in the beginning is like, oh, Peter's going to be around, don't worry. And that's when we thought, you know, Miguel was going to be Superior Spider-Man. Like, yeah, right. Dan Slott really tricked us on this one. He definitely strayed us into different directions. But something I loved about this issue is that it was very gutsy. And I see that's what Dan Slott's been doing the whole time. He's been doing gutsy moves, and that's what I loved about Amazing Spider-Man. But there's also stuff I just felt like they were wrong with this issue as a Spider-Man fan. First of all, I think if we compare Peter Parker's death in this and Peter Parker's death in Ultimate Spider-Man, the one in Ultimate Spider-Man I thought was a lot better. I felt like it was more emotional and more right, and I felt like Miles deserved that more, and I think that's why people accept it more, also because it's the Ultimate Universe and it doesn't really count, but it's, I mean, it counts, but, you know, it doesn't count as the regular you. So with the regular universe, you would think that the death would be like, oh, you know, this is so dramatic. I mean, yes, it was dramatic, but I felt like, alright, Dr. Octopus is dead. Oh, wait, Peter Parker's dead also. You know, so it was like more of, yeah, it was good, and like, I guess I teared a little. I didn't really tear, but I got a little sad at the part where he's in heaven and everyone's saying hi to him. I read the preview of that and I got a little teared up again when I read it the second time in this issue and actually reading it in the issue. But I just felt like the death was a little on the weaker side. I think it could have been better. Also, I felt like Superior Spider-Man, you know, Dr. Octopus, kind of changed his ideas really quickly. Because at first he just wanted to ruin Peter's life. And then he started getting his memories. Like, oh, that happened. Well, maybe I will be a good guy. You know, I felt like, yeah, he got his memories, but he didn't really develop and really... It just happened very quickly that he wanted to do good. Also, something I hate and I love also is that finally Mary Jane and Peter are together. And yeah, Peter's not Peter. And Mary Jane doesn't notice it. You know, I think as readers, when we were reading issue 698, we noticed something was different. We noticed, like, oh, wait, did he just say lady? Did he just say sweet old lady? Did he just say, you know, so I forget what the rude thing he always says to Mary Jane. Let me say, leave me alone, woman. Yeah, that's it. Leave me alone, woman. Like, doesn't Mary Jane, like, recognize, like, wait, Peter wouldn't say that. So it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't she understand this? I feel like she's done enough of all this craziness in the superhero world to know something's wrong. And I feel like maybe she will notice in Superior Spider-Man, because I feel like how could you not notice? And I think that's what makes me cringe a little, is that people are going to think that Peter's saying all these bad things, because Peter's being really cold. We get to see that in Bending Spider-Man, we get to see it in this, and that's what he's going to keep doing, and that's Peter's body. They're going to think that's Peter, but it's not. So, I mean, that's just going to be a little cringe type of thing, I think, with Superior Spider-Man I'm going to get. But even though there are things I disagree with, I don't think this is a bad issue. I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, this is the worst issue in the world. I've heard people say this is the worst issue in the world. But it's not. You know, Dan Slott had the guts to do this. Maybe I would have picked a different villain. Maybe I would have picked Green Goblin instead of Dr. Octopus, because I feel like Green Goblin's more of the arch nemesis, and I feel like you get more story out of that. But I don't think this is a bad issue. And again, there are things I disagree with. I wish it was a little bit more tearjerker in the last scene. I wish the death felt a little bit more sad. You know, I think it was sad. I feel like we still haven't gotten the impact, like, that was Peter. We don't get to actually, I think that was it. You know, we don't actually get to see Peter die. We get to see Dr. Octopus die. It's like, that's Dr. Octopus. But then you think, that's Peter. I feel like because we don't really actually feel Peter's dead. And that's, in my opinion, I feel like Peter is somehow around. Especially because Dan Slott kept saying, oh, well, yeah, Peter will be in Superior Spider-Man. My guess, because we get to see them get into Peter's memories, will maybe Peter take over his body and maybe they're sharing a body? That could be interesting if we see that in Superior Spider-Man. If they're, like, sharing a body and then, you know, they have to fight each other eternally. I think that would have been more interesting, actually, if we got to see Dr. Octopus and Peter share a body. That would have been interesting, and then fight over that. Because, yes, because we get to see the robot, little Octobot thing, try to attack. Let me see if we actually can get the scene. Yeah, try to attack Spider-Man, but doesn't, because he says, oh, well, I have this machine thing, this metal thing, it won't happen. But how about if Peter did go in there a little, you know, in his body a little? Maybe he did, but then he's dying and saying his last words, so I think Peter's dead. I just feel so upset that Peter is dead. I don't think it's gonna last. I don't. I think Peter will revive somehow. I don't think this is his last breath. I mean, maybe he'll be in heaven a little. I would love to see him in heaven just a little. He's like, oh, this is what Peter's doing. He's finally has his happily ever after, which he kind of doesn't, because everyone thinks Dr. Octopus is Peter. And I just hope, the one thing I hope is that Dr. Octopus doesn't ruin Peter's life. I hope that he's like, alright, you know, let me try the best I can. You know, I won't be that rude. You know, I just think, especially the Mary Jane, I feel so bad because she's just being kicked around. Like, she's being abused, and she doesn't give a shit. I mean, he's like, I love you, Peter, come on. It's like, she's just being kicked around. I feel bad for that character. I think she's a strong character, too, because you guys know I'm a big Mary Jane and Peter Parker fans. I feel like she's such a strong character, and I think she loves Peter so much, she should notice that something's wrong. And again, I think with that second issue cover, we get to see with Mary Jane kissing Peter Parker, we're going to see more of that relationship. And I think Mary Jane will notice, oh, wait, something does seem wrong. Maybe, you know, Peter's, you know, maybe Dr. Octopus is in Peter's body, or, you know, she'll figure out something's wrong. Also, I felt like in this part, and I'm glad this didn't happen, when Carly, when Peter tells Carly, oh, maybe that's how it's going to happen, but Peter tells Carly, this is the only person he tells throughout this whole entire thing to actually make someone actually know and try to figure out. But, so Peter says to Carly, I'm Peter. In Dr. Octopus's body, he says this, I'm Peter. And then she doesn't trust him. He's like, yeah, this is a joke, you know. This is not real. So she's the only one that actually has the potential of knowing, which I don't think she's going to figure it out. But maybe she'll tell Mary Jane, hey, you know, this weird thing that Dr. Octopus told me, he said that he was Peter. And maybe Mary Jane will realize, wait, this Peter doesn't seem like Peter. Peter is dead, you know. Maybe that's how she'll notice. But, again, I thought this issue was good, but there's a lot of things I think a lot of people could debate about. I'm excited to see what happens to Superior Spider-Man, but really nervous also. But I really hope Peter somehow shows up. I would love to have a final word. It's like, no, Peter's actually dead. So hopefully we get to hear from Dan Slott soon, hearing if Peter's actually dead or like maybe type of thing. So I'm very curious with that because I just have this gut feeling he's not dead. I feel like they killed him off in a way that feels that he's not dead. I feel like it wasn't sad enough. But, that's my opinion. I thought it was a good issue. It's definitely worth picking up. There's obviously stuff I was upset about, stuff that I wish happened, but I still think it's worth picking up. A lot of things happened in this issue. I give it a 4.5 in a way that I think a lot happened, and it's worth picking up, obviously. Don't miss it. It's an issue you shouldn't miss. It's an issue that I think a lot of people could have their opinions on. I think that's what I like about this issue. It's not like everyone's going to be happy. It's a controversy of an issue where people are going to be like, I really like this, you know, or I'm skeptical about it. For me, I'm skeptical. I'm very still skeptical about this. I'm very skeptical about Superior Spider-Man, but I'm still going to read it. I'm not going to be that person that says, I hate this now. I'm going to stop Spider-Man. I read Spider-Man all my life. I hate him now, so I'm going to stop. You know, I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to be skeptical going into this. I'm definitely not happy, but I'm curious, and I'm curious to see what Dr. Octopus does. So tell me your thoughts about this issue in the comments below. Before I end this review, just want to give a quick little thoughts on the mini type of stories. The second story is about this guy who thinks he's Spider-Man, which is kind of like an alternate universe type of thing, and he was Spider-Man. It pretty much just tells Spider-Man's story. I thought it was a little weird, to tell you the truth. I didn't love it. And then we get to see a Black Cat story, which is another kind of like, oh, Black Cat? That's weird. I think it was a little funny, like, how they did it, but and the art was really good, but I didn't love it for the last issue of Amazing Spider-Man. I think they could have done better. Like, why pick Black Cat to tell, you know, us one of these stories? We also get to see some previews for upcoming Spider-Man stories and some art, which I will be picking up the Avenging Spider-Man with Wolverine and X-Men. That should be interesting. What else? We get to see covers, which was cool. And then we get Stan Lee letters, which was awesome. I think that was a great idea what they did to make Stan Lee write the letters for the last issue. So, again, there's a lot of stuff in here. It's definitely worth the $8. And pick this up. it's a controversy of an issue, a controversial issue, and can't wait to hear what your thoughts are, that we all talk about it. So tell me in the comments below what your thoughts are about this issue, and I can't wait to see. So this is Comic Uno, guys. Don't forget to put the, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Comic Uno and Random Situations. I was going to say don't forget to put comments, but no, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. So this is Comic Uno, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.